If Romans 8 is your team and it's the championship game, which 5 verses are you starting the game with? And are those verses different than the 5 verses you will put in the game if the team was behind and needed to come back to win? But let me put it to you like this. Let's just say you were coaching a new believer in the faith, and all you could give them to help them is Romans chapter 8. Which 5 verses are you giving them to start their Christian walk with? And are those 5 verses the same, or are they different than the 5 verses you would recommend for them if the enemy had them down real bad and they needed to come from behind or overcome some stuff in order to win? So that's the question that I have. I'd love for somebody to jump in the comments so that way we can have this discussion, because I got my 5 and they are different. So here is my breakdown. My big 3 verses, because everybody knows if you're going to have a championship team, you need a big 3. My big 3 verses that I'm keeping in the game when we start, and I'm keeping in the game even if we need to come from behind, are Romans 8:1, Romans 8:28, and Romans 8:31. Those are my big 3. The fact that there is no condemnation for those who are in Christ, that's Romans 8:1. And that all things work together for good, that's Romans 8:28. And if God be for us, who can be against us, 8:31. I believe that will hold you, whether you're getting started in the game or in your Christian faith, and or if you have to come from behind because the enemy's got you down bad. I think those are the big 3 verses for me on my team. I would love to know if somebody disagrees and they got another big 3, because this was hard, but those are my big 3. Now, when it comes to my starters, in addition to those 3, I'm going with Romans 8:5, and I'm also going with Romans 8:10. Those are my 2 wings that I'm going to put in with my big 3 to start the game. So those who live according to their flesh have their mind set on what the flesh desires. But those who live in accordance with the Spirit have their mind set on what the Spirit desires. That's Romans 8:5. I'm going with that to start with, because that's the get your mind right focus verse. Then I'm also putting in Romans 8:10 as a complement to that, which says, but if Christ is in you, even though your body is subject to death because of sin, the Spirit gives life because of righteousness. See, Romans 8:10 is the encouragement verse for me, because I think it speaks to, even if your mind is right, but your body is not all that well, or, like it's a back-to-back game, or you're not feeling 100%, or you're sick, or you're tired, which a lot of believers may feel when they start out on their Christian journey. My mind is saying things, but my body is doing other things. I think Romans 8:10 is that encouragement verse that complements Romans 8:5 that I'm putting in with my other big 3. It's a reminder to them that the Spirit still gives life, even though the body is subject to break down or to die because of this nagging issue of sin or injuries that we've suffered in this life. So that's my starting 5 to start the game. Or if I have to coach somebody in the faith and I can only give them Romans 8, I'm going with verse 1, I'm going with verse 28, I'm going with 31, I'm going with 5, and I'm going with 10 as my starting lineup. Now, if we get down bad, okay, and the enemy is whooping up on us and things ain't looking good, like we done fell into some sin, or we quit listening, we done went a little rogue, we out here doing some things, and now we done lost some ground and we got to make up some ground and come back, like stage an epic comeback. I'm sticking with my big 3. I'm still going 1, no condemnation, still going 28, all things work together for good, still going 31, if God is for us, who can be against us? But I'm taking out 5 and 10, and I'm putting in verse 26 and verse 37. Okay, so those are the 2 verses that are different for me from the starting lineup to if we got to come from behind. 26, which says, in the same way, the Spirit helps us in our weaknesses. We do not know what we ought to pray for, but the Spirit himself intercedes for us through wordless groans. For me, Romans 8:26 is that secret weapon when we really struggling. When they keep hitting shots, the defense ain't on, our shots aren't falling, everything is a mess, things are going awry, and don't nobody even on the team know how to fix it. It done got real quiet in the huddle. The locker room was silent because we just down bad. I think verse 26 is the secret weapon. The Spirit is still interceding for us even when don't nobody else got words. You don't need words. We got the secret weapon. So I'm putting in 26 for the come from behind. And then, of course, I got to go with 37. In all these things, we are more than conquerors through him who loved us. For me, that's the rally cry. We got to go back out on this court. We don't know what's going on. We getting whooped real bad. Everybody put your hands in. I'm going 1, 2, 3 conquerors on me, right? That's the rally cry for me. So that's kind of my breakdown for the starting lineup versus the lineup that I would put in if we got to come from behind. So I hope that you have found some kind of illustration that you can use when you want to connect basketball with Romans 8. But just in the middle of all this March Madness and getting ready for the playoffs and all of that, just wanted to encourage somebody that even if you get down, even if you don't know what's happening, we know that all things work together for the good of them who love God, who are the called according to his purpose. That verse will hold you if you're just getting started or if you got to come from behind. But you can know that all things are working together for your good, because in the end, we win. Don't mean you don't got to play defense, but in the end, we win. If you've gotten to this point in the video and you've enjoyed it, I would encourage you to like and subscribe to this channel and just keep him in mind.